Hello everyone, my name is Ravi Kumar, President at Infosys. Welcome to the next version of Trailblazers. Trailblazers, as most of you know, is about individuals who are making significant impact, change leaders, individuals who are disrupting industries, and individuals who are actually making impact to the communities and societies we live in. Today I have two distinguished guests at our beautiful Innovation Center in Indianapolis. I have George Oliver, the CEO and Chair of Johnson Controls, Nancy Berce, the CIO of Johnson Controls. George has been with Johnson Controls for a couple of years as the CEO and Chair. Before that, he was the CEO of Tyco and on the board of Tyco, and he was responsible for the integration of Tyco and Johnson Controls. Prior to that, he worked for almost 20 years in the GE group of companies. He was a CEO of Water and Process Technologies and the CEO of Engine Services, GE Engine Services. Nancy has worked for many years in Abbott Laboratories as the Vice President for Technology and Business Services and the CIO at Abbott Laboratories, and this is a new stint at Johnson Controls for you, Nancy. Thank you so much for spending the time today. I was very inspired talking all of today about what the art of possibilities are for the two companies to come together. I want to tee up, George, the first question. The world is getting smarter. Physical and digital intersections are happening at rapid pace. Smart spaces, smart buildings, smart campuses, and Johnson Controls is leading the way, I would say. Tell us a little bit about how you're powering this with the new age digital technologies of the future.
Yeah, Ravi, I want to thank you and the team for a fantastic day. Sharing our vision on how we're taking our buildings business forward and the work we're doing together to ultimately create value for our shared customers. And so I would start by saying that when we did the merger of Tyco and Johnson Controls, it was with a vision that we had an incredible portfolio of technologies and capabilities that historically have gone to market separately, whether it be building controls or electronic security or electronic fire. And we had a vision that we could put all of those capabilities together in a more integrated platform and more important, create capability to be able to extract all of the data from the sensoring that occurs with those systems that positions us to be able to create outcomes in a building. And as you know, we're not only a leader in HVAC equipment, which today is roughly half of our portfolio. We're about a $25 billion buildings business. But the other half is our ability to be able to lead in building management systems. And so now with these combined capabilities, flattening the architecture, creating data capabilities to be able to now extract the data, and more important now, apply AI and analytics on that data to create outcomes within smart buildings and even beyond. It can be smart cities. And so we're making incredible progress, from a technology standpoint. We're working outside in, working with customers that we share their vision and what they're ultimately trying to accomplish with their businesses and where they see the opportunity to leverage the technology that's available today. And with our go-to-market and being able to take not only what we do today, but to build on top of that significant capability to create more value is really what's positioning us to win with the customer base that we serve.
And just to add on question to this, do you see the buyer in your customers changing because of the changing portfolio of services you're going to now deliver to your clients? Or?
What I've seen is, let's face it, right? There's multiple customers within the customers that we serve today because there's a lot of things that we do, whether it be selling HVAC equipment or selling a security system or selling a fire system. But what I've seen over the last year or two, an acceleration, that there's now a sense that with connectivity, with data, there's so much more that can be accomplished. And so what I see happening within our customer base, that it's being led top down. That there's an understanding now of what the possible can be with connectivity, with technology deployment, with the use of data. And because of that, we're working much more strategically with our customers. And so what I would say is the answer is yes, that you get into a much more stronger strategic partnership with our customers, that ultimately we ideate, we co-create, and then we ultimately deliver capabilities that achieve their vision.
Thank you, George. Nancy, over to you. Since the day I've been interacting with you, I know about the significant transformation you're doing on the IT stack and the tech stack of Johnson Controls to keep it agile and progressive as an enterprise Johnson Controls want to be in the market. Tell us a little bit about what's going on the transformation of the tech stack to enable and make Johnson Controls agile in the business.
Yeah, just very excited to be here. And I think when you listen to George's vision and our vision of what we can bring to and offer to our customers, the foundation of that starts with technology. And if you look at what I offer, not only to Johnson Controls, but how I am viewed, how I view our customers, I'm the buyer. And when you look at everything that has to be digitized, it starts with infrastructure. And it's really important to look at where technology is going and make sure that is upgradable and workable to enable all of these new digital capabilities. When you look at smart spaces and you look at how digital and physical forms come together, it fosters collaboration through all of that infrastructure and technology. So we're very focused on how do we upgrade our foundation. We're very focused on how do we drive efficiencies and how do we build that common data platform to make those things usable and to feed into this whole vision of a smart workplace for not only ourselves, but also for our customers.
Thank you, Nancy. So George, one of the things I know Johnson Controls is doing is almost driving a systems approach, of hardware, software, and connected services to reduce carbon footprint. And that's a huge, CEO agenda for many large corporations. Tell us how that is going on and how is Johnson Controls orchestrating this?
Sure. So when you think about what we're doing as Johnson Controls from a sustainability and being able to really advance even the social network that ultimately achieves that, we're very much committed with the resources that we're deploying. It starts with, when you look at HVAC equipment, it is the largest user of energy across infrastructure, across the world. And so as we continue to advance our technology within our equipment, HVAC equipment, there's significant opportunity to reduce that energy consumption. And there's new products that we're bringing into the market today that are 20-30% more efficient. That's only one part of the puzzle. The second is the building controls, which is then optimizing what we do not only with the HVAC equipment, but then everything else that happens within the building. And so making sure that you understand the energy loads, during the 24 hours and optimizing those loads and being able to create the right amount of comfort, but with the least amount of energy. And then within a building, just optimizing all of the utilities, whether it be water consumption, energy consumption, space utilization, optimization of all of the other building systems, beyond just HVAC, is what we do with our controls. And so for us, not only is it what we're doing internally ourselves within our own four walls, that every year we're delivering a significant improvement in sustainability with reduced energy consumption, with reduced water consumption, but then being able to bring the solutions to our customers that ultimately achieve their goals around sustainability. And then as we think about what we do across the globe, we have 110,000 employees across the globe. And one of our core values is what do we do in the local communities that also delivers similar type impact? Because not only taking the expertise that we have in the space that we compete, but being able to leverage that expertise much more broadly in the communities that we work. And most of our people, we have, I think, over 1 million hours of volunteerism around the topic, and not only through education, but also through volunteering with local organizations that ultimately are focused on achieving similar type results.
Great. And do you see this approach changing for retrofit development versus new development, or is that complex enough for retrofits to play a role, or you think most times I do get this feeling that it's much more expensive and much more difficult to do it with a retrofit and existing development.
So we do, when we look at our business, for sure that with the technology available today, that any new build can be right from the start be built much more efficient in the capabilities that can be deployed. That all being said, when you look at the current infrastructure, there's a significant opportunity to upgrade that infrastructure. There's equipment that's consuming significantly more energy than what today's equipment consumes. There's building systems that aren't integrated, so therefore the building isn't optimized in how the building is operated or maintained. And so we can normally go into an as-built or a current building and always find opportunities to be able to take that current, the current as-built and be able to upgrade, whether it be upgrade the equipment, deploy some of the new software tools and capabilities that then allows us to be able to take that and bring it to a whole new level of performance that delivers on sustainability goals, and that delivers on being able to drive operational improvement within that particular vertical that customer competes in. But I'd say that there's tremendous opportunity to do both.
Thank you so much. Nancy, we discussed today, and I was, reflecting on all these articles I wrote in the Forbes a few days ago about the future of work. Organizations are going to move from private human capital to private human capital plus public human capital, which is the gig economy, which gives you the scale and the agility, and machines, which give you the insights and the problem-solving capabilities, and humans are going to do creative and problem finding. And in that journey, I actually think consulting, system integration, services around the Johnson Controls ecosystem and powered by the Johnson Controls ecosystem is going to play a significant role. And I know we spoke about it, about the partnership, how the partnership can evolve to create a ecosystem and a consortium of sorts with the power of Johnson Controls behind it. How do you see this happening for the system integration space, the consulting space, the services space, which companies like Infosys are in the smart spaces arena?
Yeah, I think it's actually going to help grow and expand and bring together the two spaces. When you look at what Johnson Controls brings to the table, we start from a building system solution, and we're evolving up that tech stack to use newer technologies to exploit those outcomes for our customers. When you look at the services, the traditional IT services organizations, we start at the business systems area. And when you look at the ultimate value proposition of how you create new outcomes for smart buildings and smart spaces, where you have this gig economy where they want to foster collaboration, they want to be able to personalize their workspace. It's really the art of how you bring those two together. And so when I look at the partnership with Infosys, both on the commercial side, our long-standing partnership on the IT side, that whole 360 view creates a whole level of knowledge and expertise that I think can help both of us share a common vision around changing this industry and disrupting this industry. Because when you look at these areas, it's about scale and speed. And if you look at some of the positions we have in the market space, how we're working up that stack, on the technology, and if you look at the services that Infosys brings together, we just have a huge opportunity to work as one. I think the second piece is we share a common desire to change how we work, and we have a lot of methodologies around how we work with our customers to define outcomes through design thinking. You share that same vision, and actually you guys have really focused on changing that whole culture globally. If we can bring those two together, and as we bring those two together, it just will bring forward an accelerated pace of how we can bring value to our customer. And that to me is what I think is quite unique for Infosys and JCI, as well as unique to what we do in the industry.
Absolutely. In fact, I do believe that the Johnson Controls ecosystem can power the workplace for efficiency, safety, and hyper productivity. And the future of workplaces and workforce is almost going to drive how organizations are going to behave. So I do believe it's a very powerful way of driving transformation in large corporations. And George, I remember you talking about the digital world, the Johnson Controls digital world. I loved that idea of a multi-generational platform where you plug in different aspects and nuances of smart spaces, and you are able to make it multi-generational because the foundation doesn't change. That was fascinating because I've never heard that from anybody in your industry before. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this came out of the integration. When we put the digital platforms together, we realized a key, one of the biggest value creators was going to be the data that we collected from the multiple systems, and then being able to use that data in new business models that create new outcomes for the customers that we serve. And recognize that we have a footprint across every vertical, whether it be stadiums or commercial buildings or universities or healthcare. We have incredible capabilities across those verticals. And what we've learned is that the foundation of what we do with our integrated platform, and then the ability to be able to house all of the data, use the digital vault to be able to, through not only our systems, but also other connected systems.
And it could be heterogeneous landscapes as well.
That it's the use of that full data set that is critical to being able to create the outcomes that we're trying to solve in the key verticals that we're working with our customers in. And so we've got a lot of IP, that we've built around that as we've developed that capability. And it's the foundational architecture it's microservices that, with the pieces that ultimately come together, that you can continue to connect, and then multi-generational, they just continue to expand and get better because of the capabilities that we can connect to our platform and ultimately collect the data. And so this, combined with the ability to create artificial intelligence and machine learning, depending on the data that we're utilizing or the problem that we're trying to solve for our customers, puts us in an incredible position, right, to be able to capitalize on this, what I would say, the new space that's being created because of all this connectivity and, quote, smart buildings. And I do agree with Nancy that when you look at this ecosystem, that the game is changing, that it's because of the not only customer back, what is it that they're looking to achieve from a smart building? And it's typically around people, assets, space, right? And we have sensoring around all of that that's deployed in a building. Then the ability to be able to utilize that data to improve, right? To improve utilization of space, to improve productivity of the workforce, to be able to work smarter, right, within the workforce, to be able to improve the utilization of assets. That is what you can achieve with the full data set that we collect. And so as we think about the ecosystem that's being developing, we have core capability that we believe in a building is got us in a leadership position. But we also recognize that there's other parts of that ecosystem, whether it be technology, go-to-market, other influences, from a consulting standpoint, that ultimately work with customers to define what it is that they're looking to achieve, and then making sure that we're all aligned with our combined capabilities that create that success, for the customers that we serve. And so we're working today with a number of enterprise customers in the key verticals that we work within. We're working with partners like Infosys and others. Microsoft, we just discussed this week the opportunity that we have with BIA, which is going to be a leader in the space that they're in the Emirates, around waste management and the like, and the ability to operate with the smartest building in the Emirates. We're going to be part of that, working with Microsoft. So we see an incredible opportunity not only to create a lot of value for our customers, but then to work in a very constructive manner with partners in how we ultimately deliver on those outcomes.
So well said, actually. I do believe while the digital technologies have virtualized the world, the value is amplified in the intersection or on the edges of the physical and digital. And companies like Johnson Controls can play such a big role in that intersection, I would say, and therefore, create an impact which is multifold. So thank you again for talking to us. Thanks so much for the partnership, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you, Ravi.